you just see the parallel in these numbers, and then you look deeper into these cultures and you see how sacred these numbers are. The hardest part of that, every time I think about it, is the rooster crowing and the eye contact.
God,
that is the worst part of that story, because there are times where that individual and me as an individual have our own paths that we're not doubting each other and what was there. We're doubting our ability to continue forward together.
I was an angel.
When you weren't missing?
When I wasn't missing?
Hello, everybody. Welcome back in. You're back with Jane and Mark.
What's up? I'm going to go grab the dogs.
Yeah, we're going to take a minute to slow down and look at the overall themes for this season, month, and week. So let's back it up back to the winter months. Okay, so we are in January is the second month of winter. So it is the darkest. It's usually the coldest time. Okay, because it's the very heart of winter. And we are looking at, with January, the month between worlds. So the seeker crossing the veil. We started off with the awakening. The first week was the awakening. That's where our seeker found out that they were the seeker. Week one was a lot about hearing that call, right? Realizing that you were seeking more, whatever that may be for you. And now we are on week two, the crossing, and we're on day 13, January 13th. So all of that in mind, let's take a minute to just take a breath. We've been through a lot.
Yeah.
We've experienced quite a bit. Another tough one today is the doubt. So we're in week two, the crossing. We're about the end of the crossing. And now this is when doubt hits us. So our theme of today is the collapse of faith. This is not an easy one. This is, I think, some of the hardest feelings come from the collapse in your faith. Faith in another person, faith in a greater being, faith in whatever it may be, yourself. And our four stories, all the cultures are just very rich in their symbolism of faith. All cultures really do have that. But these four, I think, did just a very beautiful job of it. So we're going to look at Sumerian, Abrahamic, specifically Christian, Hindu, and Lakota folklore today. So again, we're looking at the collapse of faith and the doubt. We'll see you after these stories. Before we begin, I want to take a moment to honor the cultures behind the stories we are about to explore. The tales shared here come from many peoples, lands, and traditions. I do not change these stories to fit modern expectations or to align with today's social standards. Instead, I present them as they were told, sometimes beautiful, sometimes harsh, sometimes challenging. We are not here to judge the past, but to understand it, to listen, to learn, and to honor the ancestors who carried these stories forward. We also share stories from various religious traditions. These are presented in their historical and spiritual context, with respect for their beliefs that they represent. Every culture deserves respect, context, and acknowledgement, and this space is dedicated to doing exactly that. Story 1. Inanna's Descent. In the oldest written myth known to humanity, the goddess Inanna does not fall because she is weak. She falls because she chooses to descend. Inanna is the queen of heaven, the bearer of fertility, love, war, and kingship. Her power is complete, radiant, unquestioned. Yet she turns her gaze downward, toward Ker, the great below, ruled by her sister, Ereshkigal. No reason is fully explained. Some say she descends to attend a funeral. Some say she descends to claim more power. Some say she descends because the call of the underworld cannot be ignored forever. At the gates of the underworld, Inanna is stopped. There are 7 gates, and at each one, the gatekeeper demands she remove a symbol of her authority: her crown, her staff, her jewels, her robes. At every gate, she hesitates, and at every gate, she complies. By the time she reaches the throne room, Inanna stands naked and bowed. No longer a queen, no longer divine in appearance, just exposed being. Ereshkigal did not welcome her. She judges her. Inanna is struck down. She is turned into a corpse. She is hung on a hook. For 3 days and 3 nights, Inanna remains dead. Above, the world begins to wither. Fertility stops. Desire fades. Life pauses. Inanna's servant, Nishnabur, pleads with the gods for help. Most refuse. They say Inanna chose this path. Only Enki, god of wisdom, responds. He fashions 2 small beings from dirt beneath his fingernails and sends them into the underworld with the single instruction: do not judge. When they reach Ereshkigal, they mirror her grief instead of opposing it. Ereshkigal breaks. Inanna is released. But the underworld demands balance. Someone must take her place. Inanna ascends again, restored but changed. She returns not as the untouched queen she once was, but as one who has died, doubted, and returned knowing the cost of descent. In the Sumerian worldview, even gods must face collapse. Doubt is not failure, it is a gate. Story 2. Peter's Denial. Peter was not a distant follower. He was the one who stepped forward when others hesitated, the one who spoke when silence was easier. He left his nets immediately when Jesus called him. He walked on water, if only briefly. He swore loyalty with the confidence of someone who believed himself unbreakable. You are the Christ, Peter declared, and later, more boldly, even if all fall away, I will not. Jesus answered him quietly. Before the rooster crows, you will deny me 3 times. Peter rejected the idea outright. This was not cowardice speaking. It was faith untested by terror. That night, everything collapsed. Jesus was arrested. The crowd scattered. The teacher who had healed, taught, and promised a kingdom now stood bound and silent. Peter followed at a distance, close enough to see, far enough to escape notice. In the courtyard, the firelight flickered. A servant girl looked at him closely. You were with him. Peter denied it. Another voice joined in. You were one of them. Again, Peter denied it. A third accusation came, sharper now, closer. Surely you are with him. Your accent gives you away. Peter swore, he cursed, he denied knowing Jesus at all. Then the rooster crowed. Across the courtyard, Jesus turned and looked at him. The text does not describe anger. It does not describe judgment. It describes recognition. Peter remembered. He went out and wept bitterly. This is not the doubt of disbelief. Peter never stopped believing in Jesus. This is the doubt born of fear, when faith collides with survival, when devotion meets consequence. In Christian tradition, Peter's denial is not the end of his story. It is the breaking point that makes the rest of it possible. His leadership later is not rooted in purity or perfection, but in knowing exactly how easily courage can fail. Peter learns that faith is not proven in words or vows, but in moments when everything that once made belief safe is stripped away, and that even then, mercy can remain. Story 3. Arjuna's Crisis. Arjuna stood between two armies, and his hands began to tremble. This was not a battlefield of strangers. Across from him stood his teachers, his cousins, his elders, and his friends. Men who had raised him, men who had trained him, men whose faces carried memory, not anonymity. The conch shells had already sounded. The war was inevitable. And yet Arjuna could not lift his bow. He was the greatest archer of his age, chosen by destiny, trained for this exact moment. His cause was just. His enemies had committed grave wrongs. Everything aligned with duty, except his heart. Arjuna looked at the field and saw only loss. He imagined victory soaked in grief, a kingdom built on blood, a future emptied of meaning. His strength drained away. His bow slipped from his grasp. He turned to Krishna, his charioteer. "I will not fight," Arjuna said. "My mind is confused. My courage is gone. I see no good in killing my own." This is the moment the Bhagavad Gita begins. Krishna does not comfort him. He does not excuse him. He does not shame him. He teaches. Krishna reveals that Arjuna's doubt is not weakness, but misalignment. Arjuna is mistaking attachment for morality, fear for compassion. The soul, Krishna explains, cannot be destroyed. Action performed in accordance with Dharma must be carried out without attachment to outcome. Arjuna is not asked to stop feeling. He is asked to see more clearly. Still, the doubt does not vanish immediately. Arjuna questions, resists, collapses inward again and again as Krishna expands his vision. Only when Arjuna witnesses Krishna's true cosmic form, vast and terrifying, does understanding settle. "I will do your will," Arjuna finally says. "My doubt is destroyed." But the text never forgets the moment before clarity, the hesitation, the collapse, the refusal to act when faith becomes unbearable. In Hindu tradition, Arjuna's doubt is sacred. It marks the threshold between blind action and conscious action. He does not become holy by fighting. He becomes whole by questioning why he fights at all. Story 4. The Lonely Spirit Journey. Among the Lakota, doubt is not an enemy to be defeated. It is a place one must walk through alone. When a person reached a breaking point in life, a moment when certainty collapses and identity no longer held, they were not given answers, they were sent away. The individual would leave the safety of the camp and travel alone into the hills or plains. No weapon, no companions, little food. This was a hanblacheya, the crying for a vision. The journey was not meant to be heroic. It was meant to be empty. Days passed without voices. Nights arrived without fire. Hunger weakened the body. Loneliness magnified every doubt the seeker carried. Old fears returned. Old griefs spoke louder. The mind fractured under the weight of silence. This was the point. The Lakota understood that when distractions fall away, the spirit reveals its wounds. The seeker was expected to endure not danger, but uncertainty. To sit with questions that had no immediate answers. Who am I without the tribe? What am I when no one is watching? Why does my path feel broken? Visions did not always come in dreams. Sometimes they arrived as animals crossing the horizon, weather shifting suddenly, or a feeling that pressed into the chest without explanation. Other times, nothing came at all. And that, too, was a vision. The seeker learned that doubt does not mean abandonment. It means transformation is unfinished. When the individual returned to the camp, they were not celebrated. They were listened to. The elders helped interpret what was seen or not seen. Meaning was woven slowly, communally. The lonely journey was never about receiving certainty. It was about surviving the absence of it. In Lakota belief, doubt is the space where the spirit sheds false skins. Only those willing to walk through uncertainty alone could return with wisdom meant for the people.
Got it.
Hey everybody, you are back with Jane and Mark in Folklore and Flourish.
Sup, everybody?
Brought to you by Blue Box 29. All right, so our fourth story is the collapse of faith. Our lesson of the day is that even heroes falter. Even heroes falter. So across cultures, doubt precedes transformation. A goddess descends and does not return unchanged. A disciple denies what he loves. A warrior collapses before his duty. A seeker walks alone into silence. Each story reveals the same truth. Faith does not fail all at once. It fractures first. What did you think about the daily thread? Like looking at how all of these different stories showcase a wider variety of faiths, a wider variety of cultures, to acknowledge someone's faith breaking or collapsing and acknowledging that that is a part of the journey. That is a part of the crossing. And before you can become, before you can transform, you do need to collapse. You know, it does need to fracture. You have to be able to shed the old, but you have to be able to detach from the old sometimes. Right. And that's where a lot of that doubt comes in, is because you feel like you're losing your grip. It's like being hugged by someone, and then that fracture happens and you get that little breathing room and you kind of panic because your safety isn't there. That compression isn't there. And then we look at just even heroes falter. So the first story, a lot of Enki with the Dead Sea Scrolls and all of those kind of conspiracies and stuff. I liked she went into the underworld. There were 7 gates, and each one demanded her remove a symbol of her authority. Interestingly enough, the first one is the crown.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And she walked into hell?
Well, not hell, the underworld, though. She walked down and had 7 gates.
What was the second one called?
The second one was her staff.
Is there another, is pineal and staff tied together at all?
Gained something in the second one. Yeah. Any of you that don't know, within our book, The Pilgrimage, they're in the duat and they have the trials as well. Our main character, Snow White, has the trials. And her very first trial deals with her crown.
Yeah.
7 trials.
Somebody brought up that they actually read our book today. Someone told me, hey, I read your book and I finished it and I really liked it. And then asked who did the descriptive writing. Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, we both did. And they were like, oh, because it really reminded me of, she wrote Vampire Chronicles. Like, I didn't realize how old of a book that was until I had found out. But it was just neat because we were trying to write it in a Gothic tone. And then that's kind of the writing that she does. So for them to pick up on what we were intending is amazing. Mm-hmm. And I'm super happy about it. Right.
But it goes to show you, that's that bleed of folklore where you see a myth or a legend like this of her descending down. There are 7 gates. Then you go and you look over at Snow White, which is a German fairy tale. And fairy tales are a branch of folklore, you know. 7 dwarfs.
Right.
You just see the parallel in these numbers. And then you look deeper into these cultures and you see how sacred these numbers are. You know, we look back on world heroes or icons and they use symbols and it's like, oh, did they know what that meant? Yeah.
They sure did.
They sure did, you know.
And it's, you want to say coincidental and oops, but, you know, nothing happens for no reason, you know.
Yeah, a lot of these stories, I think, come from the same place.
Yeah, right.
Everyone saw it and just
told it.
They had their own versions of it. Yeah. So this one was all about showing that doubt is not mortal weakness. It's not something that only happens on one plane or with certain people. It shows that sometimes collapse is necessary for transformation.
I believe that 1,000,000,000%.
And whether it's willingly, like that's why it said there's different versions. Was it for a funeral? Was she pulled down? Whatever it may be. That part didn't matter. It was the doorway to transformation. It was necessary. You know, that descent was necessary. There is absolutely a reason for every rupture, fracture, break, heartache that we feel.
Yeah.
Regardless of how ugly or how painful it is.
Yeah. I mean, look what the Chinese used to do. I believe it was Chinese way back in the day. They would break vases and then they would glue it back together with gold.
Was it the Chinese or the Japanese? Yeah, but
I believe it was old ancient China. Yeah. I believe is who did it. Maybe it was Japan. I'll have to look it up. But just some of the most beautiful art from something that's broken. And you can make things that are beautiful within yourself from something that is broken. But you have to choose that it's that way. You can't just expect to like start healing and growing and then look at this thing that you used to not like and just be like, I'm okay with it. No, if you want it to be beautiful, you choose for it to be.
And the fracture, I feel like it also has to be purposeful. Like you are changing, you are transforming, you are in the process of becoming. And that's why it hurts so bad.
Right.
That's why it feels like you collapse so easily, because it wasn't easy. You overcame fear, you overcame whatever obstacles, and now it's that last little bit. And then we go to the second one, the Christian one. The hardest part of that, every time I think about it, is the rooster crowing and the eye contact.
That
is the worst part of that story.
1,000,000%. Because as soon as you see that and hear that, or well, you hear that, see that, you're like,
I really think that Peter wasn't thinking about it at all. He was not connecting what was going on. It was complete survival for him.
Yeah, he was freaked out. He was scared.
And it was panic. And then when it crowed,
he realized.
The fact that not only he heard it, but that he was in a position where he was going to be acknowledged.
Yeah.
And that is exactly why I believe Jesus and Judah had a discussion too.
Yeah.
Because why wouldn't you? You know, and Peter, that refined Peter. Isn't Peter the one that got crucified upside down?
Isn't he?
St. Peter's, yeah. Basilica, St. Peter's Square over in the Vatican.
He became a pretty big deal.
He became a really big deal.
Because he got broke.
He allowed it to refine him.
It sharpened him.
Yeah.
You know?
So why, you just see the parallels.
And I feel that, that where you're like, there's no way anything's going to go bad. And like in his case, there's no way I'm going to, mm-hmm. And then when it happens and you are totally blown away, like, what? This is real life? No way. And I've personally been there too many times. And I'm like, whew. So stories like this, like I connect with, and not just because I was raised that way, but because I've lived it myself and it sucks. But you know what? I'm way better of a person today because of that suck. So I am a firm believer in that everything happens for a reason, but not only that, all the really bad stuff happens for a reason. If you allow it to be a good reason, it will be. And it doesn't matter how bad it is. And that's weird to say, but it doesn't matter how bad it is because something good came of it. You just have to find what it was. What was the lesson? Why did it happen?
You have to believe that for myself. Because if something doesn't matter, then you have to question what does. And if anything does. And if nothing matters, it's
pretty sad.
I just feel like that's the end.
Yeah. What's the point?
Because if nothing matters, there wouldn't be one.
You know what? I bet you if you told people that we're in the end of times, like the rapture, all that stuff already happened, right? Satan's ruling everything.
Yeah.
And people would be like, it doesn't matter what you do, guys. Go have fun. In not the best way, right? I'll guarantee you there's still a ton of people out there that are like, it doesn't matter. We're still going to live the way we were living. And I definitely would be one of those where I'm not going to change because I believe I'm here to help other people.
The hard thing about being someone that helps other people, though, so passionately, is that you do stand put. Like you plan to yourself. So like how you said you'll stand like firm, grounded.
Yeah.
You're like a tree.
Yeah.
You know those trees that they've just always been in that same spot, regardless of the weather. But then there have just been times where the weather beat them to shit. Yeah. Or the owners didn't take care of it, just destroyed it. And yet that tree remains growing there. That's where it's planted.
Right.
That's what you are.
Okay.
And that's why I was saying, like, you see people that see the tree and they always try to come repair it when the, like, in-betweens, but it just needs tending to. Arjuna's crisis. So that was the Hindu one, where Krishna is there, but Arjuna is doubting his purpose. He is seeing the destruction that he will wrought, he will bring.
That's hard.
And it's so personal because it is personal. We've had that discussion before where whenever anyone says, well, it's not personal, it's always personal to someone.
Yeah, 100%.
Just because we don't give it a name, give them a face or whatever, doesn't mean that it's not still personal. And everything aligned within him, everything, but his heart wasn't there. I love when he just turns and my mind is confused.
Yeah.
And because my mind is confused, my courage is gone. You're already doubting it, but when you're face to face, when you're hearing them, close enough to smell them, all of your senses are overwhelmed. Doubt isn't weakness. It's not failure. It's misalignment. It is okay to question your destiny, your fate. When things start to get really good and you get scared because you're so used to like
the suck
and just like walking and thinking everything's okay, and then it's like you're just knocked down at the knees.
Yeah, been there.
So you doubt. Take a breath. When you get that misalignment, whether it's your heart, your mind, your throat, whatever chakra it may be, your doubt doesn't consistently fade with the same ease throughout. Right. We need to understand that. And I'm saying we need to, like, because I have been heavy with doubt. And Krishna, all Krishna does is expands the vision. Just expanding his vision. Arjuna's. It's not, well, this is your path. Well, you have to do this. Or just get over it. Get over your doubt. Get over it. He just continued to expand his vision until all of a sudden there was no room left for doubt. I am struggling. I need help. I'm asking you for help. And then I'm going to allow you to see. I'm going to help you see. I'm going to help you continue to see. But this is over a period of time. The story says that he continues to question. He continues to resist. He collapses inward again and again. And that is, if that's not life, I don't know a story that is. You do not collapse just once. And it's a beautiful burden that we all pay, is that to have faith, sometimes you've got to be so broken that it is all you have, to where you are analyzing it. And you go, you know what? I have no doubt anymore. I can see now. Thank you when I needed help. Thank you for allowing me to see more. That's the book that you have on your nightstand.
Yeah.
And it's that epic, but it's a philosophical dialogue. It's a beautiful one. That story as well just says the doubt's not resolved by certainty, but by perspective. And oftentimes, I think when we hear that, we immediately jump to, yeah, they would understand if they saw my perspective. They would get it if they saw my perspective is the one that matters. And then you have the very opposite side that's always assuming they're wrong. Because I've been on both sides. where I hear that and I'm like, oh, I'm sure their perspective was right, because that was beaten into me too, you know? When it comes to this kind of stuff, you'll always be wrong. Yeah. Always. And so we have to be careful to also acknowledge that there are certain perspectives that are not healthy perspectives. Acknowledge you see it and then throw it away. You don't need that perspective. And I'm specifically saying the ones that drain us. So to be answered like that would be pretty special, though, to fall and collapse into, and people say they do feel their greater being, you know, whatever, maybe God or Krishna or the Great Spirit. But when they are really in those times of faltering, they say they feel them the most. You know, have you ever experienced a time like that where you were really struggling with your faith, or you were struggling with something and all you could do was let go of the wheel and just kind of like...
More times than I can count. I'd like to say you get better at doing it every time, but every time it's scary as crap. I don't know how I was answered in those times. I know more recently where I'm more open to receiving stuff. I think is a lot to do with the way I'm changing the foods I eat, the way I treat my body, the way I talk about it, the way I talk about my mind, the water I drink or how I drink it, you know, speaking love into it.
Physically active,
more active. I've definitely opened my mind up to receiving stuff like that. And, you know, I've told you how I've heard little things here or there, or felt things here and there, to where I've stopped, to where I believe it's almost like the same thing. I believe that's what it would feel like. Like when I had that horse racing ticket and I heard something in my head say, go check it. I would like to assume it's fairly similar. So I've had answers, just not quite not like that.
Sometimes you receive an answer that can't speak at all.
Yeah.
Just the power that nature has to give you signals. There's no way birds don't absolutely see you crying your eyes out outside, right? And then they just happen to land next to you, singing their chirpy songs, like the audacity. I say that because, I mean, animals can hear the frequency that's coming off.
Yeah.
They know what's happening.
Yeah.
And yet, I mean, I can think of several times where I've been extremely upset and an animal has come and sat next to me while they're one of my pets. And it's a beautiful thing. And then I love when you can hear the earth make noise. Like not just the animals, like when we were up getting Christmas trees and we heard that tree, and it was just like it was talking to us. I felt so empowered by that. I was so excited. I was like ready to go on an adventure. So a lot of that too is when you question your path, it's also helping prepare you, because to question it now is much better than at the end.
Yeah.
When you have to have 100% of your belief. You've already gone through the trials of uncertainty, of doubt. You have fallen down so many times that you know it does not feel better the more it happens. It still sucks.
Yeah.
The collapse still feels like a brand new fracture, a brand new breakage.
Sometimes worse, because it's like, again.
That heavily made me believe in the fool, how necessary a fool is.
Yeah.
And how necessary it is that we all play the part of the fool.
Yeah.
Or at least we have someone that we are close enough to that we almost embody their personality as well to go forward. And a fool is just, honestly, anyone that has that positive intention, those positive viewpoints. Because I feel like a lot of the time you're either a cynic or a fool. Or you can acknowledge that you're both and neither at the same time, allowing you to go straight through the veil, still transforming. To allow yourself to have been on both, to stand firm in both of those. They stand firm in their decisions. That doesn't mean the fool is the one that always walks away empty-handed.
Right.
walks away with the lesser deck, you know. And then we get into the Lakota one. This is the second time now we've talked about the spirit journey, that lonely spirit journey.
Right.
Very different.
Way different this time.
Very different take on it. The last one was looking for the signs.
Yeah.
Again, was that the other sign one? I don't remember necessarily, but it was communicating and it was sharing your dream. I think that might have been it, the dreams. You share with your community and how you aren't alone. But I loved this take on it.
Yeah.
This take of they were crying for a vision. That's that line. The journey was not meant to be heroic. It was meant to be empty.
Yeah.
Voluntarily collapsing on several levels. Not just collapsing spiritually or mentally. I'm collapsing emotionally. I'm collapsing physically. And you are so vulnerable and raw. And you are allowing the world to see you exactly how that higher being sees you. It's like the most beautiful thing because it is ripping away exactly what that original sin did. It's saying, here I am, the way that I came in by your grace, whatever your grace is, you know. It's not something that everyone, I believe you have to be prepared. And sometimes that means that you need to physically prepare for that kind of difficulty. In this day and age, I think that would be a big part. But you also need to realize that sometimes some people need to prepare more spiritually. Like you need to be, they're fine physically. Their body will survive. Your body can survive that.
Yeah.
Certain people are going to be way more uncomfortable. Certain people are going to be pushed longer.
Yeah.
But some people break emotionally very quickly, spiritually very quickly.
Yeah.
To where when that breaks, they can give up quicker. And this one just says, this really is when you need it. This isn't a big showboating. I got a dream. I got a vision. I went on my journey and I did this. No, it is like a quiet, sacred, close, meaningful thing where you are not only exposed to the earth and to your higher being, but now you're exposed to your people. And that's where you get that sense of community, that sense of tribe. You know, I love how it says, what am I without the tribe? What am I when no one's watching? And then that, why does my path feel broken? And that, we talked about it before in the Yellowstone show, Casey goes on one.
Yeah.
And he's shown two paths. And I believe that neither are great, but one is so devastating that it looks like he's sick. Like, you know, it's like what I picture it as is a protector's greatest nightmare was that path. And it was showed to him. If you continue to go down that path or you continue to go down this way, these are your paths. And something that's scary is that your greatest fear will always be one of your paths. It will always be one of the ones that is constantly there. Have you ever thought of that? It's all your doubts lined in one crossing, that alternative crossing, where it's nothing but the doubts that have been shed on the way, and then you can see the other ones there.
Right. You're like, I'm going to make it. I'm going to make it. And then you're just looking and you're like.
And I think sometimes we doubt things more than once. We doubt relationships more than once. Like the amount of relationships we have in this world. You have partners, you know, business partners. You have sexual partners. You have long-term partners. You know, not that those all can't be one thing, but then you have siblings, parents, kids, random people that look up to you, random people that don't like you. You have all these influences. You are faced with so much opportunity to feel doubt, but it comes from the most meaningful places. You know, those people that you do love the most, that you have no question about, then why do we doubt it? because there are times where that individual and me as an individual have our own paths that we're not doubting each other and what was there. We're doubting our ability to continue forward together. We're doubting our ability because a lot of the time I think we say, let's compromise. Let's compromise. Why? Why can't we both get everything we want? Why does me getting something mean that you get less? Why does you succeeding have to come from my failure? And I think of that so much living in small towns where you're told if you upset someone, well, what if you need a favor? And because you aren't in the same team as me, you're not against me. You're just not in the same team as me. I can't support you. That's wild to me. It's not that I disagree with you. What you're doing is wrong. It's none of that. It simply is, you're not in my social group. Therefore, I can't even cheer you on. We have so much of that going on. And it's like, I think it's such a scary time where we're surrounded by so much false positivity that we're almost offended by it when someone says something good. That's why I'm so big on tone.
Tone is huge.
Because the vibration that comes at me is going to be felt before the words are truly felt.
No, I'm right on board with you. If I hear how you're saying it and it comes across weird, I'm going to react accordingly.
Right.
Like, I'm like, okay, we're going to be fake now, I guess.
Right. And it's, so when you get those little bit of sarcasm in the compliments or that, oh yeah, I told you so, like, we are even defensive about the way we compliment other people. Like, I knew you could do it. See, you doubted yourself, but I knew you could. Like,
right? What?
Thank you. You're right. Absolutely right. I did doubt myself, but I made it through, you know?
Because of me, not because of you.
Yeah. And I thought it was because of you, but now I know that that was transactional.
Mm-hmm.
That was a swipe of a card. That was a, you owe me a favor later.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like that.
Right.
You know, we've talked about that, getting on the same vibration as people. And yeah, I do think of certain people and I'm viewing things very differently because of the people I've met through you. Like, I know that you've met a couple of my friends that are really amazing people, you know? Sure. And that, I mean, that comes from you've seen the worst out of somebody.
Yeah.
You don't even have to see their best. You know, those ladies in particular and their partners, they've seen some of the worst, and it doesn't matter because they've seen the capabilities, you know? And so I know that you've seen some of that, but then I think of think of the Hanas and calling them for help. And then we're doing stuff and I just wanted to do something I hadn't done before. But your friend's first thought is, okay, but I didn't really help. And it's like, you just tracked up that mountain, you got the four-wheeler out. But his thought was, oh, I thought you guys needed help.
It was more like a moral support thing, honestly. Like, he did do some stuff. It helped me when he was walking in front of me.
Stuff, though.
More than he thought, like that walking down in front of me helped me so much.
But he wasn't exhausted. He wasn't out of his way. Like, then that's what it came across as. This wasn't an inconvenience to me, so like,
I didn't do anything.
Do you need anything? Because I'm just having a good time.
Yeah.
And
I'm gonna be like, hey, I need you to come up here again. All right, what are we doing? I need you to roast that hot dog.
Right. And then I see like
totally gonna do that this summer.
I see like our parents and stuff. You know, I think all four of them, if we really needed them, they would be there. But
I have no doubt in mine.
I truly believe like your dad and my mom are a little bit more reserved. You know, they're a little bit more kind of to themselves, I think. And that's not a bad thing.
Right.
But I see stuff like your mom saying she has so much stuff going on, so much. And she continues to add more to her plate. And then she just happens to make a nice little social media post about us out of the no time that she has. It's sharpening something in me. Like, that's the second time I brought it up to you in like 24 hours because it was so meaningful. It's sharpening something in me. And I really am having a hard time picturing a situation where I can be told I just didn't have enough time.
Right.
Because I've seen someone that doesn't have enough time. Our parents, you know, constantly show us they don't have enough time, but yet they make time. But like, just, she was taking notes, she was cooking dinner, she was doing this, she was doing this, doing this. I didn't even see when she had time to do that. And yet she's constantly asking how to make everyone else's life better. And I'm like, maybe take a rest, take a nap. And that woman has been broken. Because there is no way that you, like, I think about all four of our parents, because there's no way that you love the way that those four people do, even when they're absolute pains in the butt, and I want to box them. You do not love and treat people the way you do without being severely broken, like in certain ways.
Yeah.
Like, I don't doubt at all that all of our parents haven't absolutely been through it more times than they needed to. I mean, they raised us, so
I was an angel.
When you weren't missing?
When I wasn't missing? I wasn't missing much.
That's the hard thing. And I think you're going to experience this more than I will. Because you've obviously you've had 4 girls their whole life, you know. I'm coming in pretty late in their, like, growing up, you know, K through 12, whatever. But knowing that a part of becoming who you need to become involves breaking, and that you're going to have to watch that out of 4 girls. My dad had to do that too. I mean, your dad raised girls too. Girls are very, I mean, you can say a man can be rude, but girls are mean in the breakage. And I don't want to speak for everyone because I've lashed out on girls when we were both breaking and they were not that way.
Yeah.
They were more peaceful than men that I've met, you know?
Yeah.
With 3 other sisters, I was an angry, destructive breaker. When I broke, I exploded. You know, it's that shattering, it's that clawing, and then you get others that you didn't even know were breaking until it was so beyond. Like, you have to look at them and go, dang, you suffered for so long. You know, I feel that way about like one of my older sisters. Because, you know, you see them after a long time and physically you can see their pain. And at that point, I mean, I was too young to know what that meant. Yeah. But as adults, we've talked about kind of that pain. Then you get that camaraderie almost, but it doesn't make it easier. And hoping that you can break significantly more to spare another, I don't think is a wise bargain to make.
Yeah.
Because then you're hindering them. You know, we must all break. It's like the butterfly that comes out of the cocoon, hardens, then breaks, and then just leaves it and never goes back. And so I felt that with the Lakota one, that when you feel broken,
yeah,
there are others who are there. May not be when you expect or who you expect, but it's a part of the process. Like, I love that no one stops them from feeling their doubt, you know, in the sense that they were like, no, don't doubt, just push it down, just push it down. I don't think it's wise to push down our emotions anymore.
No.
I think it's just best to just get them out. And I don't mean we sit in a circle and like you and I have to share how you upset me with this all the time. I don't even know. I have very few people, probably about 5 to 10, that I can walk into a conversation with them and know that it's going to be an open conversation both ways. Very few people that don't have a guard up. And I think that's something I miss about going and having a couple drinks at a bar now and then, because you get that stranger that is open, because I don't know who you are. You do not matter. You're insignificant. Like I am to them, you know? And you can get, like, that's the flip side of what we said yesterday. It is a venting place. It is a place to air all your problems. But sometimes you get to air all your doubts.
Yeah.
You get to air your fears, you get to air your hurt, and someone there that's just on your side.
Yeah.
They don't need to hear the other side.
Right.
They just acknowledge your pain and go, that sucks. Let's drink, or let's numb it. Let's talk about it. Because inevitably you do talk more.
Yeah.
And so I do miss that. I really do miss that. And that's why I know like some towns are getting like smoke lounges.
Yeah.
But then you go other places where you can just go and they have reading bars. It's literally just a coffee place, I guess, where you can read.
That's cool.
It's easier to make it through when you have others.
Yeah.
Who are unconditionally there to grant you wisdom, to grant you perspective. But that does not mean that every single time you're in a situation, your friends should be hounding you on the other perspective.
Right.
Like, that's where I really struggle is I'm fully capable of seeing the other side. We got to take a step back and realize that when someone is at that stage of their collapse of faith, they don't need to hear benefit of the doubt or to give perspective. It's exhausting. It's just one more reason to feel doubt. Because why, out of everything you could say, why are you throwing down my throat things that I'm already overanalyzing? Things that I probably already know. I'm not asking you to give me more perspective all the time. And I'm not saying you in particular, but I've been feeling that a lot lately from people is they don't want to listen. They just want to explain. And that's where all of these problems started in the first place. And that's what makes me so sick is this has started, it built up, it blew up, and it's continuing in my healing process because you guys still don't want to listen to me. I have heard the 100 other sides. I have heard nothing but doubt, but never once have I been able to share honestly and openly without being cut off. It sucks because we use the word gaslight so much more than we need to lately, but that's what it is. When people make you believe deeply that you're just losing it.
Right.
Because they don't allow you to share your perspective.
Yeah.
So it drowns within you.
Yeah.
And it's
then you question yourself.
Yeah. And that's why you have to distance yourself from people sometimes. Like there are people, I mean, some of those close friends we just talked about, there are perspectives or ideas that we have that are very opposite about certain things.
Yeah. Which is healthy.
It is. I mean, there are perspectives, though, that I may not agree, but if I had an inquiry about it, I would go to this person, I would go to that person, knowing that we don't have the same perspective, but I know that that person knows more than I do about it, potentially. They know that other perspective. And so you have that, but, just to be asked, like, are you okay? Do you want to talk about it?
Right.
And it's those words make you almost cry because it's I have wanted to do it so much that I just never thought I would actually be asked. I didn't think I'd make it this far. When all you wanted was someone to ask you, I can talk to you and I'm pretty open with you and I talk a lot. But there are some people that I feel like I don't talk at all around anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there are certain people that it's just so defensive. It's just thinking of things you might want to say that you're just like, it's not worth it.
It's almost like that story where it's like,
myself.
You see the end of the story if you say something, right? And you're like, if I say this is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
What's the point?
And then it's like, give people chances. I think sometimes you need to not give them the chance to disappoint you. And I'm 100%. Saying that when they have continued to show that pattern.
Yep.
And when it's like, we do not agree on this. We do not agree on this. Why would I continue to bring it up?
Yeah.
Ooh, but it just makes me so frustrated when someone else brings it up to build that anxiety in you.
Yeah.
And it's like, how dare you ruin my peace? I wish we could just all be on that same page. Oh. How dare you go out of your way to disturb my peace?
Yeah.
My mental peace.
Yeah. People find joy in it, and it blows my mind.
I know, and then I don't even know how would you react if someone said that to you? That's so empowering. I'm going to do that the next time someone does it. Like, who are you to come disturb my peace, my mental space? You know, the way I function. Who are you?
Yeah.
Because if you're my partner, you don't want that. Because now we're dysfunctional. We're not in alignment.
Yep.
You know? But, yeah, people do that for fun, for sport.
Mm-hmm.
Like a little tally. I ruined this person's day today.
Yeah. I know quite a few people like that. I've never been able to get on board. Blows my mind.
I have on this perspective. You're already seeing me as a villain. It's lesser than you, as trash. I mean,
if they're
trash,
the ones causing it, yeah.
But that being thrown on you, then being like, yeah, but now I'm going to be a problem with, if you believe all of that, and I'm loud, because that's what you're saying I am, I'm loud, then I'm going to be loud. You don't need to be standing hand in hand with someone to support them. You don't need to be blindly following them or running into battle with them. You can give them perspective. You can give them peace. Like the amount of times I've contacted someone and they give me exactly what I need. Well, maybe take a breath. You know what? I was feeling the same. This is what I did. And that's what it should be. You know, that look we give people, that warning look we give people, and they continue baffles me.
They take it as a challenge.
Yeah.
Instead of like respecting you. And when they take it as a challenge, they obviously don't respect you.
Right. And they take it as you have to swallow your pride. No, I'm facing my inner whatever of my growth. That doesn't mean I'm fighting back, beating you.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that I think I'm better than you, so I need to. No, I'm tired of the way that this behavior, and this behavior makes me feel.
Yeah.
And so I'm looking at you with this warning look, and I'm analyzing how to never be in this situation with you again. And then the hard thing is when people do test that, and you stand firm with them, and then you both suffer that loss of setting that boundary. That's what we don't talk about, and that's where a lot of that doubt comes. I am doubting the boundaries I laid because I feel this way. I'm doubting seeing the light at the end of the tunnel because I can't even lift my head up. You know, I'm doubting that someone's out there witnessing me. I'm doubting that there's someone out there that truly cares, because every time I've heard it, it came with a cost. It was transactional. At the end of the day, you have to get yourself through it. You know, you have to pull yourself out of that doubt. Keeping that in mind as we move forward, the reflection question of the day is, what almost broke me?
I guess depends on what your definition of broke is.
It's your definition.
Right.
You know?
And how you choose to answer, because I've definitely felt broken, right? But was I necessarily broke? You know, did it break me, or did it just make it so I had to do something else to make myself stronger to put me where I am today? Definitely nowhere near broken.
Yeah, I just had this flashback of this video. I saw it's like most inspirational sports video or something. And they're all talking, you know, and it's meant to kind of give you the teary eye. And they go, if you're gonna fall, and I believe Denzel Washington said this part, you know, he didn't want to fall back on anything except his faith. He's gonna fall back. He can't fall forward, he has to fall back on something. It's his faith. And then I heard this other guy say, if you fall on your back. Because if you can look up, you can get up. And that was just such a powerful thing, because how often you just I feel so defeated. And you do look up and you see that vastness. I don't know why, it just brings comfort knowing you're outside and put your head up. Our activity of today is to name one doubt you have been avoiding. So name a doubt you have been avoiding to acknowledge what still needs tending. So what parts within you still need some tending to? Name that doubt that you've been avoiding. And then the application for today is, what you question is not what weakens you. It is what prepares you. So your questions are preparing you, not making you weak. So name one doubt you've been avoiding today. Think about what almost broke you. Hold on. And we will be back tomorrow for a whole new lesson, whole new theme, and it'll be a good one.
Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for you guys
listening.
Thank you for walking this journey with me today. These stories are more than folklore. They are the heartbeat of our world building, the inspiration behind our characters, and the soul of the Legends Reborn Chronicles. By exploring these tales, we honor the past, ignite the present, and breathe life into the legends we're creating together. To see more of Mark and I, as well as additional scenes, discussions, and healing, check the links below that will lead you to our various social media platforms. Please also feel free to ask any questions or leave any comments in the episode below or in future episodes to come. We would love to hear from you. Until next time, may your path be guided by wonder, curiosity, and the magic of the stories that came before us. Blessings, and I'll see you on our next folklore journey.